Hey everybody, welcome back. Today I am going to be making a double channel ceramic ring, and you can see I've got my ring maker station here from Turner's Warehouse, and I'm just getting it set up with my mandrel, putting the ring on. The nice thing about this maker station is it holds your mandrels for storage as well as for making. So being that this is a double channel ring, the first thing I'm going to do is tape off one side of the ring. I'm just using masking tape. I cut it thin, like a thin strip, and I'm just wrapping it to cover it. I just want to keep out, since I'm doing a two-color opal ring, I want to keep out one of the colors on the other side so that I don't get a mix. I just want them to be nice and straight. So this is the first color I'm doing, green and then a yellow opal. And today I'll be using UV resin, which is cured with a black light. And this is just the paintbrush I'm using to apply the UV resin. I put a little drop in there. I like to dip my paintbrush into my opal and just get a little bit on the tip. You want to use the wetness of the resin on the brush, but not get resin in your cup of opals. You don't want to get a bunch of clumps in the opal. So you want to be really careful and controlled when you're dipping into the opal, but you just want to get a little bit of the opal on it and then kind of roll it off. You'll see me roll the brush. You want to roll the brush into the resin, and that'll pull the opals off into the channel. A lot of times when I'm doing this, I'll then go back and put a little bit more wet resin on top to kind of make the opal settle to the bottom of the channel, and that helps a lot and makes it look a lot better. You can, of course, take it out of the stand like this. I'm using some magnifier glasses, so it's nice to have it a little closer to my face sometimes. And what I'm doing is just working my way around the ring. I'll put some resin in the channel, and then I'll dip my brush very carefully into the opal to pick up some of the stones, and then I'll roll the brush into the channel to get it off. When I'm happy with the placement and how it's all settled in there, I will use the black light to cure it. And what that does is it sets the resin and the stones will not move. And I've gone ahead and sped this up about 5 times. You just want to work your way around the ring. The whole process doesn't take very long, but for the sake of a video, it would be a little boring. About 15 minutes maybe to go all the way around the ring. And you just work your way. You want to pack the stones in nicely. You don't want big gaps because that'll show through the stone. You just want to pack them in there, put resin on it, and just cure it and work your way. I go about 1/4 of an inch to a 1/2 an inch around, and then I'll use the black light to cure it. And once I've worked my way around one side, since this is a double channel, I'll go back and kind of roll it like you see here and just give it a little extra cure. Now, you're curing all the way around it, so the whole process you're going to be curing. Now I'm ready to do the other side, so I can peel off the paper, I'm sorry, the masking tape, and expose the other channel. And I do like to cover the first channel. So I put it back in the stand and then I just kind of roll the mandrel and cover the first channel. And the reason being is even though we've put stones in there, there's still some gaps and some space over top of the stone to the top of the ring. And we don't want our second color getting into that first channel because we're going to go back and fill it all in with resin uh, at the end. And again, I am using the UV resin, so it's really nice. You can work at your own pace. If you need to go a little slower, you just don't cure it until you're ready. So the black light gives you that freedom. And now I've got the second channel tape, or the first channel taped up, ready to expose the second channel. And I've just got UV resin in that little dish that you see there. So when you see me dip my paintbrush into there, I'm just getting a little bit of resin on the tip. So I'm swapping out my opals to the second color. And these are little 3-gram jars of opals from Turner's Warehouse. Variety of colors available, so you can really make it personal to whoever you're making it for. And I always start with a smaller amount in the very first part of the channel, and I call it creating a little dam. And that way the gravity going backwards as I roll my ring around doesn't let the opal or the resin drip or slide. So I do a little spot and cure it, and then I'll work a little further after that. So here I'm just taking the time to kind of pack them in. I push them down, You can use the back of the brush to do that. And then once you're happy with that, you can cure that spot. And then again, you just work your way around the ring. Once you're happy with the ring and you've gone all the way around, it's good to examine it. Make sure you don't have any gaps that you want to fill in, because once you put the resin on top to coat it, you can't go back and fill in those gaps. So I'm just curing it a little extra with the UV light before I expose the second channel. And then what I'm going to do is peel off this masking tape. If you do use something sharp like this, be extra careful. You don't want to scratch your ring surface. But once you peel this off, you're going to go back and apply more resin over the top of the stones. And you want to create a nice thick coat. One, so you have a nice clear coat. And two, you want a nice smooth ring. You don't want dips or peaks or valleys around your ring. So take your time. Usually I go around it 2 or 3 times to fill it all the way in. I'll go a little ways, put some resin in there, fill it in, and then go back and rotate it all the way around. And that usually 2 or 3 times I can get all my low spots out. You can always come back to a low spot if you find it in finishing, but it's kind of a pain. So once I'm done and I've gone all the way around, I will give it a little extra cure with the flashlight here. And then I do also set it out in the sun, because I'm in Arizona and the sun is an awesome UV cure. So this looks pretty good, and it is ready for polishing after it sits in the sun. So this is the same mandrel that I was working on with the stones, and I've got it on the lathe mounted in a collet chuck. And I have a pretty strict process that works really well for these rings. I sand them with 600, 800 sandpaper to basically flatten it out and take down any high spots. Once I feel that I've got it all round and smooth, then I go to my polishing. But you can see I keep it really wet. I don't want to build up any heat in the resin, and I don't want to have any of the dust scratch the surface of my ring. Now this is ceramic, as I mentioned. You don't have to worry about hitting it with your sandpaper or your polish paper, because you're just going to shine it up basically. It's a hard material, but if you do hit it with the sandpaper or the polish paper, it just makes it shine. So I'm going all the way around it. I'm trying to get my resin flat and smooth, and that way when I polish, it's all uniform. I like to stop it and take a look, rotate it, make sure I don't have any resin clumps that I couldn't feel when I was sanding. If you do, just go back and take care of them with a little sandpaper. Now that my resin or my ring is ready for polishing, I'm going to use Zona Paper. Zona Paper has become my favorite way to polish. It's 6 grits from 1 to 30 micron, and it does a really great job. I think most of the time when I'm done with my Zona Paper, it's perfectly polished, and I don't even need to do any additional plastic polishing of any sort or buffing. So all my rings I do this way, 600, 800, and then straight to Zona Paper. Now you want to work through these grits carefully. There's 6 of them. I'm only going to show you a couple here, but there's the last one is really fine. You can hardly tell the difference on each side. It's so soft. And I like to give it a little tug. This is the final grit, and it really makes it polish and shine. It really buffs it out with that. Just make sure you keep it wet. Once you're done, inspect it. And this particular one came out beautiful. The black ceramic with the 2 colors of opals just looks amazing. So I hope this helps you. Hope you like this ring. Please like and subscribe and check out Turner's Warehouse.